Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we'll be continuing with the weather thing, where we will pass the value to the UI. Now, if you see the link has changed, I'll be using a different API now. There is a website called weatherapi.com. It provides the JSON weather. Now, this is free. So what you have to do is, here you will see a sign up button. You just have to click on sign up and then login. And this is the dashboard. Now, this is the fake key. I have already obviously changed this using inspect element, but you will get the actual correct key here, right? You just have to copy this, and if you see this URL, if you observe this URL here, you will see I am providing two things. I am providing the key and the query, which is the location. So you will see %1 means the first argument, which is location. %2 means the key, which is the second argument, right? So I'm also providing the key as a second argument. Now I could do something like this. I could provide the key as a string here, but that is not a good practice. So what I'm doing is I'm sending this from the, I'm calling this from QML. So if you see, I'm providing the text, location, and the key, right? So for this, you can have a property here, string API key or something, and give some value here, and then use this API key here, right? Or what you can do is you can have a different file. Now I am not showing my actual file, but I have two files here. One is API credentials, the other is dummy.qml. So here if you see, I have a read-only property API key, right? And this value is currently dummy. So to access this, I could simply do dummy.api key, and here I can easily get the value. So think of it like this: all the important stuff you can store here, right? All the secret stuff you can store here, like read-only property, string of, let's say, password, right? Something, or username or something, right? All the important stuff you can store in this file, and when you upload to GitHub, you just delete this file or just make this empty, right? So this is secret, and no one can like actually see the API key and all the other private information. So my code is actually in this file API credential. It's the same code, but here I actually put the actual correct key value, right? So here instead of dummy, I'll be using API credential.api key. Okay, so API is in capital. Yeah. Now how to expose this? So if you see, it's important to mark it as pragma singleton. Very important, right? Otherwise you have to create an object here. Otherwise what you have to do is you have to create an object like dummy, and then give it an ID of, let's say, dummy, and then you have to do dummy.api key, right? But that is very problematic. Like you have to do this for all the files or something, right? So I don't like this. So make it singleton. To make it singleton, you have to add pragma singleton here. First line of the code will be pragma singleton. So this is a singleton, right? So you can directly access using dummy dot, right? Like this. Second thing, in the cmake file, you have to add these two lines. Set singleton QML file. This is the name, macro name. You can call this anything you want, like ABC or something, right? So singleton QML files. Here you have to provide all the files. For now, I have two files: API credential.qml and dummy.qml. I have two files, so I wrote the two files here, and then this method set source file properties. So I'm saying every file here being add this property. Like if there was a property like unique, true, or something, right? Something like, so all the property, all these files will have this property unique, true. Here it's QT QML singleton type. So I know this is confusing, but what I'm saying is these two files will be singleton. So if you add these two lines of code before this add module, right? Before the add module, add these two lines of code that, hey, API credential and dummy, this is singleton, right? And again here add pragma singleton. This way you can make QML files as singleton. So anywhere in the QML file, in any QML file, in any QML file, you can simply use this like API credential or dummy dot something, right? You can directly use dummy dot something, right? So to do that, you have to do these two things. I'll provide this GitHub code here. So just add these two things. sets here this name can be anything, and source properties. This is the most important part here. So you have to set the properties here, right? Or you could just copy this thing and just remove this. But that is a more cleaner code. So I am doing this thing here, right? So this is for setting the file as singleton. So just assume that this is providing me the API key. If you replace with dummy, it will just provide dummy, right, a string. Or if you say 1 2 3, so I'll get 1 2 3 4. But yeah, from my API credential.qml file, I'm getting the actual value here. Yeah, so let's continue. Let's go to backend helper. So if you see, I'm providing the location and the API key. Nothing fancy, everything is the same. For now, let's just print everything, right? So I'll say q debug dot no quote. Then let's see, is there any prettify format? Or let's just skip for now. Let's just print the JSON as it is, and I'll say reply arrow read all. So let's see how the location is being printed here. Just API has changed, nothing else. Only the API has changed, like the website. First it was weather.in, now it's weatherapi.com. So let's see the weather for Cairo in Egypt. Click on fetch weather, and you see it's very short and very sweet, which is exactly what we wanted. So let's have JSON formatter. You can use any JSON formatter you want. Let's remove this and paste here. So if you see, this is very clean JSON format. I'm getting very limited things which are also useful, not any garbage thing like we were getting from weather.in, right? So if you see location, name, region, country, latitude, and all the things. Now if you see, this JSON has mainly two things, and inside that location also is another JSON. See, this is the main JSON. It has two keys, right? Location and current. Now if you expand current, this is also a JSON by itself. The value of the current, like current is the key, and this thing here is the value. If you see, the value itself is also a JSON. So there can be JSON inside of a JSON. Like if you say condition, condition is inside that, it itself is also another JSON, right? So yeah, so we have to think like that. Excuse me. So anyway, let's try to access the values. For now, let's try to access the name, region, and country for Cairo. And let's see, where is the temperature. So the temperature is from current, and name, location. So we have to use both location and current to actually get the data. So let's type that, and let's send that data back to QML. So let's try to do that also. So for now, let's first try to get the data. So what I will do is, instead of just debugging this, let's do this also. I'll just store this. So this read all method returns a qbyte array, right? So I'll say qbyte array reply bytes equals reply read all, and just print this thing. Now let's try to proceed forward, and let's try to convert this byte array into JSON, so we can easily access the key values which we require in our file. So for that, let's go to header file. Here we need three things, right? Let me try again. Here we need three things. We need QJSON document and hash include, QJSON parse error, and hash include QJSON object. Now if you see QJSON document, so it also includes QJSON parse error by itself. So there was no need for like adding parse error, but yeah, still good practice. So whatever we need, we should add header files for safety purpose. So we need these three things: document, parse error, and object. Now let's proceed forward. So what's this QJSON document? This is basically saying, if you provide me any random string, So this was the random string, right? Actually, this is not a string. This is actually q byte array. If you see the return type is byte array. Now, what is array? Array is homogeneous elements. Byte, if you know, this is basically raw like memory of 1 byte is 8 bits. So we are getting result in the form of bytes, not string, not char, not int, but bytes. So we have to convert this to JSON, which is a known format. So how to do this? For that we need QJSON document. So let's do this. QJSON document doc. But before that, we also need QJSON parse error object. This will store if there was any error while parsing. Like for example, let's say this was the JSON, right? I clicked on format and this is working correctly. Now let's say in between I break this thing, right? This bracket open, bracket close. Let's try to do this. Now if you see, this is broken, right? So you will see parse error because the JSON is broken. I tampered with the bracket. See, every JSON must start with a bracket open parenthesis and end with a parenthesis, right? So if I break something in between, like let's say this, so this is not a valid JSON. If I click on format, you'll see there is parse error. So there can be issue, right? There can be a case where like the JSON they are providing me this weatherapi.com. There can be a case where they are providing me the JSON which is incorrect, right? So in that case, we should try to see if there is any error while parsing it. So let's do that. So I'll say Q JSON document from JSON. This is a method where we provide the bytes. So reply bytes and also provide the reference to parse error. Now, if there was any error, this parse error will store the value, right? So first check for error. So check for error in parsing. So I'll say if parse error dot error value, this thing is equal to, so double equal to for C++, QJSON parse error, no error. This means that there was no error in parsing, so JSON is okay. Otherwise, some error occurred, right? So here I'll say Q debug, some error in parsing, and let's print the error. So if you see here, we were printing the error in the response in the network reply. So similarly, I'll say parse error string, this one. Now I'm not using pointer because this is not a pointer, this is plain object. If I use star here, then it would be pointer, right? So yeah. So now if there is any error in parsing, we will print that. Now if the JSON is okay, so that means we can use QJSON object. Let's say root or entire JSON equals doc.object. Let's see what this object returns. It returns a QJSON object, and this is what we have to use, right? This QJSON object class thing here. So in a way, we can just remove this thing and it will still work fine. But yeah, it's your choice if you want to include or not. So okay, so I have to use that for some case. Let's do that. I thought we could have removed that, but anyway, I don't think we can. So yeah, we need the 3 header files. We did that. This contains all the JSON files, right? So what I can do is I can just print this. So I can say Q debug entire JSON dot, because this is a object, to variant map or variant hash. Okay. So instead of printing this, let's try to find something, right? Let's try to find the location. So let's try to format once more. So in the location, let's try to find the name. So what we can do is first we take out the location. So I'll say QJSON object location data equals entire JSON dot value location dot to object. Now I need you to calm down and look at the code. It's very simple. What I'm doing is I have the entire JSON thing, this whole thing. From here, I know that it has two keys, location and current. Now, what I'm saying is, excuse me, what I'm saying is, from the two keys, give me the value of this key. Give me the value of this key. The key is location. Give me this value, this whole thing. So it's giving me the whole thing, right? Which is an object. Object basically means JSON here. So this thing is an object. So convert it to object. So this method is converting to object. So I'm getting the JSON here, right? Now again, inside that JSON, inside this JSON, give me the value of the name. So I'll say qstring name equals location data dot value name dot toString. Now think about it. This was the JSON. This is a string. That's why I said toString, and this is the key. So I am saying in this JSON, for this key name, give me the value, and the value is in the string format. So that's why I said dot toString. So let's print this. So I'll say qdebug name is, and let's try to run the application once. Excuse me. If you see name is Cairo, so I'm getting the value of Cairo. Now if you want to access the country, like which country is it in, so what I can do is, I already have the location JSON, right? I already have the location JSON. This whole thing, this value, I already have the whole value. From here I want the country. So I'll say qstring country equals location data dot value, value of what key, what is the key which you want the value of. The key is country. So I'll say dot value country dot toString, because the value is of the type string, right? Because this thing is of type string, this Egypt is of type string. So let's also print this thing. And also print the country. Let's try to run the application once. And let's say uh, Dhaka, which is of Bangladesh. So if you see name is Dhaka, country is Bangladesh, and if you see this JSON, just copy this and paste here. If you see again correctly, name is Dhaka, country is Bangladesh, region is empty. Beware of this thing, right? The string can have empty values. So now if you want to get the temperature in Celsius, how to do this? Very simple. Very simple. Just like you extracted the location, you have to extract this current. So I'll say qJSON object, because the value of current is a JSON itself. This value itself is a JSON. So qJSON object current data equals entire JSON dot value current dot to object. So this is a JSON. From the current, I want this temperature C. So I'll say qstring temperature C equals current data dot value. Now the key is this value, right? Temp C. The key is this thing. So this is the key. And what is the value? The format is decimal, right? 2 double. So this is double. So I'll say dot 2 double. And let's print this thing, right? So this is not a Q string. Actually, this is double. See, the value is double. So this is not a Q string. So let's print this thing. I think I should, if you see, we got the temperature also 31.2. So the temperature changed again. Okay, that was for Cairo. Yeah, so Cairo has different temperature. So now let's try to set this data, all these three things, name, country, and temperature to the UI. So let's try to update the UI. So below the button also, let's have uh, what can we have? Okay, so below this button also, let's have a list view, or let me think about it. Okay, so we only need three things. So let's add a row layout. Hmm. Properly indent. Layout will be center in parent. Column layout will be layout dot preferred width of, let's say, 200. No need for preferred height. And let's give some spacing in the row layout. So let's say spacing of 20. So the left side will be column, right side will also be column, right? I hope you're comfortable with layouts now. We have already done a lot of projects. The right side will be column, spacing of 20 or 10 or 20. 15, let's go with 15. And then let's add three labels. First we'll have ID of name, location name, let's say location name, more sensible. We will provide the text for now. Let's just don't worry about it. Second will be location country, and the third will be location temperature, as you've guessed. Temperature in Celsius, so temp C. So after this, we have to fill this value, right? So we have to fill this value, right? So how to do that? How to fill the value? And let's say layout or preferred width. Again, let's say 200. Let's increase the width to 600, and the height to, let's say, 400. And now we have to fill this value, right? But how? We are calling this method make API request, but that returns a void, right? Because this takes time. So this is happening in the background. So from here, I need to pass the data, right? The temperature and name and country and all. So how to do this? How to pass the values, right? So for that we need signals. We need to have a signal. So I'll say public signal, signals, I guess. Actually, signals is public by default. Excuse me. So I'll pass Q variant map. You have already learned about Q variant map in the SQL video. So this is basically a map, a key value pair, if you think about it. Also, you can think of it just like JSON. But yeah, key value pair. This is the return type, and the signal name will be, let's say, location data received. No, let's make it void. Yeah, let's make it void. This is the data we will get, right? So we have, this is the location data, and we will just emit this signal, right? Just like this method, we were getting the parameter. So again, we will emit this signal. Actually, if you think about a secret, there is no need to write emit. So we'll just, if you just type this, this is also fine. So just type emit. Now you have to provide the variant map, right? So let's say Q variant map. A result. Now result of name equals this value name. Result of, let's say, country equals to this value country. Result of, let's say, temperature in Celsius equals to this value temperature in Celsius, and just provide the result here. Yeah, now we are emitting this thing, right? So we have to receive this. So to receive this, just add connections here or here, anywhere. Let's add here so it looks clean, or let's add here because we know the data is filled. So just below this here, let's add connections here. Target is my backend helper, so that is the target class, and the signal which I am expecting is on location data received, I guess. Let me see the name again, what I wrote. Location data received, yeah. Now location L will be capital because obviously this signal, this thing starts with capital. So location data received. If you see, L is small here, but L will be capital there. Now this is the value I'm getting. So I can use this value here, right? I can say let name equals this dot name. Here I can get all the three things, right? So I'll say let country equals this dot country. Let temperature in Celsius equals this dot temp underscore C. How I'm getting these three things? I'm actually providing it here. See, name, country, temp. See, if I actually provide this temp Celsius, something like this, so I have to use this here, temp underscore Celsius, like this, right? Key value pair. So whatever in the double quotes I'm providing here, I have to access like that, exact thing, exact, right? So yeah. Now what I will do is I will fill this value. I'll say location name instead of this let thing. I'll say location name dot text equals to this country dot text equals to this label dot text equals to this. Now let's run the application once. Excuse me, a bit of cold here. So let's say now this is blank, but don't worry. So for now let's try a different country. Let's say list of countries, list of capitals. Well, not just the US, but for the whole world. Let's pick a random value here. So Lima, country, let's see. So if you see, the name is Lima, the country is Peru, and the temperature is 19.2. So as you can see, we have printed it here. We can also do something like this, right? We can say text is name colon country colon and here will be temperature colon in Celsius obviously colon, and here I can say plus equal to, so it will append, right? But there is a issue. I'll show you the issue. Let's see. So if I say Peru, name Lima something, right? So okay, yeah. So it says the Lima country. I should have typed Lima here. Now if I type Lisbon, you will see the problem. You see, this is appended together. That is wrong. We do not want this, right? We do not want this. We do not want this. So what we should do is like this equals this thing plus. So this will always be new. Like I hope you got my point. This will always be new, right? From fresh. Always assign a new string, which is combination of this text plus here. Anyway, let's see. Let's try Lisbon, and we got the value. Again, let's try something new, London or Luanda. And if you see, this is updated correctly, and this is exactly what we wanted. Or we could have done one thing. So, sorry. uh, we could have added a row layout, and the first will be only this thing, second will be the ID. But yeah, we could have done in many ways. But yeah, this is the way to actually send the data to QML file, right? My bad. I showed the API key by mistake. But anyway, it's public key. So anyway, this is how you actually process the data. So if you actually, okay, so I closed that by mistake. QJSON formatter, this one. If I say format, so if I wanted the condition thing, if I want this condition thing, so what I will do is I'll say QJSON object condition equals current data dot value condition dot to object, because this is also an object, right? The condition is also an object. Now you can also add default values, right? Like for example, let's say by any case, let's say the region is not present, right? So if you remember Dhaka, the region is empty. So for example, for that we can say in the toString thing we can pass default value. So let's say empty, right? We can also, instead of country, let's try the region thing. So we can see what happens. Again, let's say empty here, empty region. So what will happen is if you do not get any value, or if you get empty thing, so it will by default say this set this thing empty, right? If you do not get any value there. So if the region key is not provided, you will get empty thing, right? So let's see. But here if you see it's provided. If this was not present, then we will. So let's just check for now. So if you think country is just swapped with region, so if I say London, but if I say Dhaka, you see this is not this empty region thing. But if I say some garbage thing, right, something like this, which is not even present there in the map. Now it says empty region because this key is not present in the map, right? So yeah. But if you like actually want to see the empty check also, you can see, you can do here. Like if the country dot empty is empty, I think. If the country is empty, then say empty country. Otherwise, just pass the country thing, right? Because this is a string, Q string. It has a method called isEmpty. So if the string is empty, just do this. Otherwise, pass the actual string, right? So again, let's replace this with region. So we can actually see for Dhaka, because Dhaka was the case where the region was empty, empty string. So yeah, let's try Dhaka, empty country. And if you try, let's say Lithuania. Okay, so there is no country called Lithuania. Bad request. See, some error occurred. Error about transferring Lithuania. Okay, so they're printing my key. But yeah, Lithuania is not a country. I forgot, man. Anyway, let's see any other thing. Nairobi, yeah, Kenya. How could I forget? Some of my brothers are there. So yeah, this is correctly fetching the Nairobi thing. So now if this was a gibberish thing, and if you stated like gibberish here, so yeah, the same. I hope you got the point, right? So yeah, this is how you actually fetch the data and pass to the UI. And this is basically all about networking. Uh, Obviously for the GET request, right? So for now, we will work with this. And let me, this is also important to delete the reply after everything is done to free the pointer. And this is basically the introduction part. After that, we will build some projects, and through projects, we will learn more and more about the networking.